Hey, what up, y'all? So, had to take a little break, but I'm back now. Sometimes I just got to take a break from uploading things like that. It can be a little much. But without further ado, I want to do another tier list. This time I want to do one on the best types at debating. So this should be interesting. Hope it's not too predictable. But yeah, I try not to pick topics that are too predictable. Like if you know something is like all intuitives are good at a certain thing, I try not to do that. I'm gonna try not to do that because then that's too predictable. But yeah, this one might be predictable, but oh well. I think it'll be interesting still to talk about. But let's get to it. Best types at debating. Um, so wait a minute. First of all, let's look at the ENFJ. Oh yeah, before I even go into that, first you see is of course we doing S tier, A tier, S and down. Of course, S is GOAT tier, and then F is worse. So first of all, let's do ENFJ. ENFJs. I'm not saying, well, ENFJs are really biased people. And the way I think about somebody that's good at debating, they have to know how to be unbiased. I think that's the main thing that will hold them back from being really good at debating, is that they're real biased. So I don't think they're the best at debating. Because of that, I put them maybe at, oh, okay, I had a little error, but back again. So ENFJ, let's get back to that. Pretty much ENFJs, they're real biased people. So that can hold them back from being really good at debating. Now, I'm not saying they'll be bad at it, but they could be real biased. They tend to have emotional biases towards certain things. And the thing is, they have inferior introverted thinking. So they could say something that has no logic to it. And that's what, that's what it causes. It causes them, they can be able to say things that have no logic to it, but they can convince people that it makes sense, even though it doesn't make sense. That's what inferior introverted thinking is kind of like for them. Um, and they can be quite a lot. I don't think they're the best at debating, but I think when it comes to debating, it doesn't. It's not always about being correct. It's about it's kind of about. I'm not a big fan. I don't always like to debate because of this reason, but because you can be completely wrong about something and still want to debate. So with that being said, I put them maybe at C tier, C or D. I don't know. ENFPs have tertiary extroverted thinking. Um, So they can enjoy a good debate from time to time. TE is a very big function for debating. ENFPs with that NE, um, T and NE can help them be decent at debate, but they're not quite the best. Because they can kind of have emotional biases, but at the same time, with tertiary extroverted thinking, it can be backed up by some type of logic or statistics and things like that. So I maybe put them they're better at ENFJs. So I put them at B. Um, Actually, let me edit that. I'm going to put ENFJ at D and then put ENFP at C. That makes more sense. ENTJ, now ENTJs, that's a type that debates a lot. They're very much known for debating. Um, TE, and then they got the NI. TE is great for debating, especially so they're TE dimes. Um, they probably win the most debates. They probably debate often too. I put them S tier, definitely. Think about TE users; they can debate with you, and they're not gonna get their emotions involved. They can be completely detached from the debate and won't get offended. And they can be kind of brutal too, but from their perspective, they're not really trying to hurt your feelings. You know what I'm saying? They're just kind of being real logical and rational. You know what I'm saying? But if you're like a filler or something, they could hurt your feelings maybe by things they say. They could seem like they're not really, they're not going to get personal. You know, so it's never a personal thing with them. So it's quite interesting. ENTPs. Now, with ENTPs, I think they can be really good at debating. Um, Now they used to say that ENTPs make the best lawyers because ENTPs are great at playing devil's advocate and seeing things from both sides. Even if you're like the person, like let's say if you're the bad guy, they can see it from the bad guy's perspective, and they can see it from the good person's perspective, and they can see why certain things make sense to whatever person. So for that reason, I think they are definitely S tier debaters. Um, Now it's really hard to say if they're better than ENTJs or not. That could be that can go either way. You know what I'm saying? But it's pretty close. So ESFJs, I'm gonna tell you right now, ESFJ is not really that good at debating. Um, for one, I think they get offended. I think they get frustrated because they might not be able to articulate themselves as much in a debate. It's not really their cup of tea per se. You know what I'm saying? They're not the best. So I put them probably at E or F. I put them at F tier. They're not really that good at debating. ESFP, you might be surprised by this, but ESFPs are not really that bad at debating. They're kind of like ENFPs in the sense that they can enjoy a good debate from time to time. However, they're not really big on it, but they do like it from time to time. You'll hear a lot of ESFPs say that they enjoy a decent debate from time to time. Now you wouldn't think that, but it's because of that tertiary TE, and they're like sometimes they're smarter than people give them credit for too. Um, so let's say I say they're about as good as ENFPs. ENFPs might be a little bit better, but I'll put them there. ESTJs are pretty good at debating. Got TE dimes. Now they can be some of the best at debating, but I'm trying to think. They could be a little more hot headed than ENTJs in that sense because they can get mad, but they tend to be really good debating and articulating themselves. Now, example of this. Now, you guys might have mixed emotions about this guy's not very likable, but Myron Gaines from Fresh and Fit. I never was really a fan of him. I always kind of thought, well, I'm not gonna give my opinion. I'm not gonna try to badmouth him. I wasn't initially a fan of him, but I'm kind of indifferent. Let's put it like that. I don't really carry the way as far as like I don't have a strong opinion about him really. But because I kind of initially thought him and that they were kind of corny. I ain't gonna lie to you. I did think they were a little corny. However, they have made some decent points, but at the same time, I'm not really a big fan of them. Found them inauthentic, but that's beside the point. I definitely think Myron Gaines is an ESTJ. Um, and the other guy, I can't think. I guess that's Fresh, right? Fresh is an ISTJ. You know what I'm saying? Those two guys are not very likable. However, Myron Gaines is not bad at debating. He's pretty decent. Um, you know what I'm saying? So I want to put them maybe at either A or S tier. They might make the S tier, but I'm say Ava right now. Um, it's debatable with that. They're probably the best. Well, maybe one of the best sensing types of debating. I don't know. So ESTPs can be pretty good at debating. However, they don't like to debate that much. They don't like to debate as much as like ENTPs. A lot of times they feel like I think they would feel like it's a waste of time or they won't see a point in it. However, they can debate pretty well if they know a lot about something. However, there's also a thing where they're a little biased too. It's kind of like ENFJs. They're a little bit biased about certain things. But it only comes out when they give an opinion on something. Sometimes they'll give an opinion on something and they'll make it seem like it's unbiased, but really it'll be strong. They'll be heavily biased about something, but they'll make it seem like they're not. However, when it comes to debating, I don't think they would struggle so much in a debate. So I would say maybe B tier, yeah. INFJ. Now INFJ, I don't see them as people that debate that often. They're kind of like ENFJs in the sense to where they'll be they're not as bad at it, but they can at times too have biases towards things, and they can make it seem as if it's not a bias by it. They're more geared towards swinging the crowd with their feet. It's like ENFJs. However, I think ENFJs are a little bit better at debating than them. Well, no, they're better at ENFJs debating. They can be logical and rational, things like that, for that tertiary introverted thinking. So I maybe put them at C, kind of down the middle. So I'm trying to think of scenarios where I've seen debates with INFJs. Yeah, they're not too bad, and they're not INFPs. I think they can do okay. Um, they got that inferior TE. Um, they got that NE. INFPs. I think they can do decent at debating. However, they're not like. I'm thinking they might be C or D. I'm gonna put them at D for right now. I might be changing my mind later. INTJ. INTJs find themselves probably debating online a lot. Um, Now they tend to be quite good at debating. I'm gonna put them at S tier. Let's put it like that. Put them at S tier. So I'm gonna order this S tier too. I think it's really hard to say, man, between those three even. But INTJs debate a lot. They tend to like have fun debating. It's like a thing they like to do. They just like to it's not a personal thing for them, just like the ENTJ. You know what I'm saying? They don't really get them emotions into it, but they're up there. INTP, that's another one. INTPs are great at debating. They tend to be pretty good at debating. They find themselves, they like to bounce their ideas off of people through debating, um, and things like that, and being philosophical through that. So I would put them S tier as well. You know what I'm saying? ISFJ, not the best at debating. Now, ISFJ and ESFJ, not both types not too good at debating. They're more likely, let's put it like that. If you get in a debate with an ISFJ or ESFJ, I want to say it depends on them, but they'd rather punch you in the face or something. I don't know. That's just my guess. I think they would get pissed off. I think if they run out of things to say. I think that's how I look at it with them. Um, maybe I F tier, yeah, pretty much. I say F tier. ISFP ISFPs find themselves sometimes they can even enjoy a debate. They don't really like the debate that much though because low at TE. Um, the thing with ISFP, sometimes they will not like to have tough conversations because they fear that it would turn into a confrontation. That's what low TE can cause them to be like. So sometimes they won't like to talk things out and communicate certain things just because they fear it might turn into a argument. And they don't really like confrontation. However, they do at times debate. They have logical debates, surprisingly. Introverted feeling is a very weird function from my perspective because they can be logical, but at the same time, definitely a highly emotional function at the same time. The thing is with ISFPs, I think they spend so much time on their emotions that they get to the point where there's nothing left but logic. So they like pretty much sort their emotions out so much to where eventually they kind of stop caring in a way, I think. Um, internalize their emotions to the point, and then they can be quite loud. It's just weird. I'm gonna say that. It's hard for me to explain right now. However, I'm gonna say they're not the. They don't really. I'd say E tier, maybe E. Yeah, they're not the worst, but you know, ICJs can be quite good at debating because I think they can be organized with their points and things like that. However, I don't think they debate that often. Um, but I don't think they're too bad at it. So let's put them at B. I think they'd rather be working or something like that. They're workaholic. ICP, my type's last. I'm gonna be honest with you. I could be good at debating. However, at the same time, I actually don't like debating. It's actually, well, I don't know. I wouldn't say I don't like it. Depends on what the topic is. I don't like debating with idiots. I'll say that. And the way I look at debating is I don't really like how you can be correct about something, but a person can beat you in a debate. Um, if they are more persuasive in a way, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times I don't really like debating because I do debate. I would say I do debate, but I don't like it as much as people probably would think I do. Because a lot of times, especially with people online, if you debate with them, a lot of times they're not. They resort to twisting your words around things like that. They don't play fair. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, if you got to twist somebody's words around or take them out of context, you've lost already. However, yeah, that's why I don't really get into it too much because people tend to do that if I debate with them, they'll do that. It's because especially if they wrong, people are sore losers. So I feel like that's cheating in a way. Like you got to make it seem like I said something I didn't say just to make it seem like you're right on like that. So, like I said, I've beaten some INTJs in debates. Um, the way I look at it is I use logic. I don't. The reason I don't think my type would be S tier. And me personally, I don't always be prepared for debating all the time. However, I do tend to have a lot of facts and things like that floating around. I don't see the point in debating a lot of times though. Um, so the way I look at it, I think we would go A because I think we could be good at it if we want to debate. We could probably beat you in a debate. However, I don't. I think because of extroverted sensing, we might not always want to debate. We might not see the point because we're action oriented. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. But let me get a little revision. Let me see. So the top INTP, this is really hard to say because it could go either way with all four of these at the top in S tier. So yeah, I think I'm content with that. But yeah. Anyways, that's all I got on that. Thanks for watching. Make sure y'all comment below. Um, Let me know what y'all think about this. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, thanks.